Right guys, so over the last 2 weeks I showed you exactly how my first week in Italy went in the singles and the doubles. Now unfortunately in the second week I didn't get in because the draw was super stacked. The seed number 1 in qualies was I think 650 ATP. So I'm going to show you my final week in the singles. I played on probably one of the most iconic and beautiful courts I've ever played on, so you're going to enjoy the view the whole video. I'm just going to let it run out and show you exactly my thoughts during the match, what I thought was going on, and at the end I'm going to talk a little bit about my plans going forward for the next 2 weeks, because as you can see I'm not in Italy and I'm not at home, so I'm going to leave you guys to watch the video and stay tuned for the end. And now a word from the sponsor of today's video, NordVPN. A VPN is simply a tool which allows you to connect to the internet in any country around the world super quickly and super easily. Now in my opinion the best way to use a VPN is to watch different tennis streams from different TV providers around the world for free. Let me give you an example. If I'm sitting here in the UK, I can go to NordVPN, connect to the French server and watch the French Open when it's on via France.tv. Now I can also do that if I were in a different country watching via the BBC Wimbledon here in the UK and loads of different other tennis TV networks. Now another one of the cool things about NordVPN is their threat protection feature, which helps to block intrusive ads and web trackers. So basically when I download a file from the internet, the threat protection feature scans it for any malware and automatically scans all URLs and blocks any malicious ones, which is super useful for someone like myself who's constantly downloading stuff off the internet and creating these videos for you guys. So if what you've heard sounds good, go and download NordVPN by clicking the first link in the description to get a 2-year plan plus 4 additional months at a huge discount, and it's pretty much risk-free because there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, or you can go to NordVPN/tennisbrothers to also get the deal. And now let's get back to the video.
Right, so first things first, at the beginning of this match, look at the view. That is unbelievable. Obviously, didn't want to get distracted, but you have to just admire it for a second. Obviously, you can see the opponent I'm playing. He's a big guy, strong guy. He's going to be a very tough to beat player, so he's going to grind from the baseline. He was super solid on the forehand and the backhand. He produces a lot of spin from that forehand side. I'm going into this match trying to find a rhythm, play a lot of balls at the beginning, but also to try and use my forehand, use that whip forehand with a lot of weight and depth to try and push my opponent back and try and find a way into the net. I knew that from the very beginning it was going to be quite difficult, and that I'd have to try and mix a few things up at the net and also from the back, so I decided to kind of serve and volley a little bit at the beginning of the match, which seemed to be working pretty well. But obviously played the doubles, tournament earlier on. I obviously played the doubles tournament 2 weeks before, and so had a little bit of volleying experience, a little bit of volleying confidence left over. As you can see here, trying to get on my forehand as much as possible. I've been working really hard on my backhand, and I definitely think I've improved. I'm getting a lot more depth and width on the shot, which I think is super important. As you can see here, going 40 love up in this first service game, aiming to go with a kick serve to push my opponent back, get lots of spin. Obviously it's going to kick on the clay court, and then like I said, trying to find my forehand. But I think my backhand defense was pretty good. Obviously when he's hitting loads of height and spin, it's quite difficult to get it into the backhand corner with good depth, but I think I managed it quite a lot, and he just pulls that forehand wide and takes us to 1-1 in this opening set. I definitely think on the second serve I was trying to be assertive, trying to be aggressive, and then, like I said, get around that forehand, maybe even come to the net at some points. I'm managing to go 40-15 up here for 2 break points early on in this first set. These opportunities are very important, that you take them very early on. So I decided to play a little drop shot here, try and charge the net, play a nice volley, and I managed to break early on. I think that decisiveness is something I tried to carry on through this match, because that's really going to win me a lot of points, and important points, rather than just sitting back and grinding. Lovely weight of shot on that forehand there to take us back to 30-all after being in a little bit of a tough spot at 15-13. That's never where you want to be in your service game. I found my forehand was working really well, moving around the court, getting my opponent back with lots of height and spin. Backhand was again super solid. He was trying to attack it a little bit more. Whether he'd watch my videos or not, you can't really tell, but that was definitely a strategy of his, going to my backhand. But obviously, like I said, all of the work I've been putting in, I wasn't breaking down as much. I was getting more balls to his backhand and then firing it up the line when I had the opportunity. So I think definitely trying to work on turning my weakness into a strength. So yeah, again, getting on the forehand here, trying to turn the point around and just getting a little bit of a dodgy bounce and putting it in the net. Facing a first break point in this match. Lovely serve and volley. Again, trying to mix it up every now and again and not just play from the baseline, which is what he wants to do. Put a volley there, just not quite good enough to finish the point. Off a winner. but I end up getting the point anyway. I take it back here to Juice. Again, another tricky situation. I try and come forwards. That's the main aim here, but he manages to pass me maybe a little bit of a lackluster approach there. And once again, serving and volleying, putting in a good volley there. My opponent just about gets it. Try and put it away with a smash, but can't quite. Try and finish it up with a forehand and manage to go up the line. So another break point saved here very early on. And as you can tell, this game is a super long game. So it's going to be super important for the momentum in this match. Get a short forehand, go inside out, and that's 3-1. A very good start, confidence booster. Definitely going to try and take that momentum into the next games. But obviously, the legs and the lungs were feeling it a little bit here. Obviously, haven't played super many matches. Like I said, the second week wasn't playable for me for singles or doubles. So maybe, I know there were also 2 days that were rained off, so potentially not as much practice in the week before. Definitely feeding a little bit. Over the last 6 months, I've been prioritising strength and power a little bit more than endurance and cardio. But there you can see, again, coming in clutch in the final shot of the rally. But I think that's just going to be something where maybe you just have to be a little bit more aggressive as the match goes on. Again, pinpoint accuracy with that backhand onto the line there, keeping myself in this game with an opportunity to go up a double break early on in this match. I was standing so far back on the court there, you can't really tell from this angle, but that ball bounced twice even though I was actually there. I was a little bit frustrated about that. Try and get a really good backhand depth was the right idea there, but couldn't quite execute it. I'm now 3-2 up on serve. Trying to be aggressive, again, trying to use the forehand. I feel like my opponent was warming up a little bit. He was really moving me around the court. I think that, on some opportunities in this first set, I was maybe a little bit too passive. I think I was using my backhand really well. I was, coming into the net with the forehand, but on some points, again, like there, maybe should have been a smash. I left it. I tried to kind of reset in this point, but using the slice well to get him back on the forehand, open up the space for me to go across. This is a really solid point here. A little bit jammed up on that backhand there, but good defense to get that ball back, and now a bit on the ropes and managed to lose that point. We're back to 15-all. Tough point, perhaps shouldn't have lost it, but my opponent's doing really well at playing high and deep to my backhand and to my forehand to really force some shorter balls out of me and some dodgy bounces, because around the back of the court that's where they're going to happen. Manages to sneak out a 40-15 double break opportunity here on my service game. And again, I try and be assertive, be aggressive, and I just miss wide. I think those are the chances that I'm happy to miss, because I made the right decision, I made the right call to be aggressive, attack to his backhand, and it didn't quite work out. But against a player who's 1,100 in the world, 6-7 ATP points, he's won a lot of matches in the main draw and qualies. It's never going to be an easy walkover, and he's never going to miss. So I definitely think instilling that mentality is super important, and like this, bouncing straight back and winning the first point of the next game on his serve. I definitely think that my mindset at the beginning of this match was super positive, super good. I want to take that through to the following matches to come. Again, they're just pushing that backhand long after a good backhand exchange. My opponent has a chance here to go 4-3 up, just block the return. He comes into the net, managed to get it low to his feet. He can't quite make the volley. Some good defensive skills keeping me in this game here. Again, trying to play with height and shape to get myself out of trouble. But as you can see, my opponent now moving me around the court a little bit more, opening up to my forehand, forcing me deep, which has forced an error. Again here, he has a game point opportunity to go up for the first time in this match. Second time actually, he was 1-0 up at the beginning. As you can see, probably not the best choice of shot there, that slice, but bouncing back with the forehand, trying to keep it low. That's a good shot there. Maybe could have run around that one to give myself the opportunity to hit a whip forehand, get the forehand, and just miss wide. I had a look at that mark, it was just out, unfortunately. Those are the fine margins people talk about in tennis. Go with the drop shot there. He has some good hands. That's back to 15-all. Important game here to not get broken. Come into the net, play off the volley. Managed to do pretty well there. I think he's slipped over, that's why I was looking like that. We come to Juice at 4-3. Very, very important point here. I don't quite remember exactly how I played this. It's a good backhand cross. Tried to go backhand up the line. I remember that one. Just missed wide. I think it was the right decision. Trying to be assertive, be dominant, come into the net off that backhand, and once again, try and come to the net, but the volley not quite doing enough, and him playing a passing shot here. I think that's a mixture of my fault for not being as aggressive, but again, that brings in more margin for error, as you saw in that backhand. But again, I'm keeping on fighting, even though I've lost my serve, I think, for the last 2 games. Definitely still in this set. Some of the best tennis I've played recently, so I'm really feeling myself, feeling the backhand especially, going cross, going line, and forehand's feeling a lot like a weapon. And as you can see here, going 30-15 up in this 5-3 game, and trying to use the forehand as much as possible, potentially maybe coming to the net and just miss wide once again, and face the first set point in this first set. Good looping backhand there, run around, go forehand inside in, managed to save 1 break point. Opponent hits a really heavy spin shot, managed to put some good defense. He goes back behind, steps on the forehand here, and that's just too good. Cool, calm and collected from my opponent here, and he gets a second set point here at 5-3. He puts me literally on the fence, the whole court to work with. Not an amazing shot, but I managed to get there. He goes up the line, can't quite get it high enough, just about get it in, and he just puts away an easy smash for the set.
Right guys, so before I show you the second set, I just want to let you know that a percentage of you guys that watched last week's video aren't subscribed. So if you could subscribe, turn on notifications, that will massively help out the channel. And now let's carry on with the rest of the set.
So to begin this second set, definitely think the first set was frustrating. Had a little bit of that in my head. I definitely felt the legs and the lungs were, reaching a point where it was tough to breathe in between the points, to be honest. You see how long these rallies are, you see how physical this match is. It's definitely something that I need to work on going forwards. Playing with this level of player in these conditions, as you can see, it's reasonably hot as well, hot, humid. These rallies are really going on, and of course you can see my opponent, physical beast. So he's loving these conditions, so maybe in hindsight should have maybe sliced a little bit more, drop shot a little bit more, serve and volleyed. But nonetheless, that's in the past. Moving forward into the second set, definitely serving and looking for the forehand on the 1-2 punch. Manages to just put that ball up the line. I really don't want to get broken here in the first game. But I think that, my opponent was definitely finding my backhand more. Managed to switch up with a drop shot, which is what I said I need to do. And I end up winning the point. But unfortunately, end up getting broken in that game. My opponent putting in a few good points. And he was really finding his rhythm, and this is a very dangerous position for me to be in. My opponent's finding his rhythm. I'm perhaps getting a little bit fatigued. That's not where you want to be. Just pushing that forehand long, taking it to love, and again trying to find that serve and volley. Coming in clutch. Going and using the forehand inside out. Just letting it fly back onto the line. I've done that once or twice in this match so far. I really should be trying to take these out of the air, give him less time. As you can see, that's going to prevent all of these shots from being played and potentially wearing me down. But again, they're using the forehand really well. That's something I should be doing more. Looking back at this in hindsight, really heavy spin balls and just missing that shot there. For another break point. But again, stamping on the forehand there, trying to get an opportunity to get into the net. I managed to go up the line, play that volley on the stretch. He goes up the line, but just misses wide. I've done really well there to hang in there. Now I get a game point opportunity. Once again, trying to target his backhand with my forehand. And again, trying to target the backhand, get a short forehand, go to his forehand. And here goes slice up the line. He's got me on the stretch there. A little bit of a bounce there on his backhand. I go slice cross. He goes back to the slice, I go inside in, he just misses wide, so I managed to hang in there. And that little bit of grit could be the one thing keeping me in this set. And again, 30 love down. These opportunities kind of slipping away from me to find a break back. These rallies seem to be getting longer, but I want them to be getting shorter. And as you can see, getting a little bit impatient and just overplaying slightly. I think that this is a game style of someone that I don't play enough in the UK on a hard court, so it's a really valuable experience actually playing someone like this. And again, going 40-30 down, just wearing me down in these games and just missing, making unforced errors. And at this point, 6-3, 4-1, there've been so many close games, so many opportunities. It's felt a lot more 50-50 than the scoreline is saying, and a lot longer than the scoreline would suggest. But I just have to keep calm, keep collected, keep my head screwed on to try and find a way of getting back into this match, because it's really easy to just give up and throw in the towel in a match like this where your opponent seems rock solid and you're really struggling on your last breath, but also mentally after you feel like you should be a little bit closer. He puts in a good angle there and I can't quite get it. I'm serving now at 40 love down. Last few games just slipped by me pretty quickly, to be honest. But again, I said to myself, look, I'm going to try and fight for every single point. I'm never going to let this kind of go away from me. I did get a tough draw in the sense of I'm playing a good player, but you have to beat good players to be a good player. So I definitely think that I hadn't written this match off. In the last match I saved like 8 match points, so crazy match point here. My opponent manages to just misses a backhand long. Try and get it back to 40-30, go with the kick serve, or nearly a body serve there, try and step on the forehand to try and find a way of winning this match, or getting back into this match, not even winning it. And my opponent with big forehand winning the match.
So unfortunately today it wasn't to be. I learned a lot of things from the 3 weeks in Italy. Of course, all 3 weeks were super tough for 25k, so I really got my level tested. Both of the guys I played were around 12 to 1300, or maybe even higher now on the ATP rankings. So I really got a good experience, and I think I learned a lot of things going forward to the next few weeks. Now, you may be wondering, where exactly am I? I am at Mouratoglou Tennis Academy, one of the places I've been to and trained at over the last few months/year. And I'm going to be training here for 1 week in preparation for a few 15k tournaments and a few British Tour tournaments, which are going to lead me through to the end of the season. Now, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to be playing. I know potentially I'm going to Spain to play a 15k after this in Mouratoglou on the clay once again. So I'm going to be training hard. I've already done a few collaborations with some guys like Jules Marie, and I'm hitting with a few professional players over this coming week, so there's loads of awesome content to be excited for. So make sure that you turn the notifications on the channel so you're notified when all of these weekly uploads come out in the future. Also, we're posting daily on shorts, so make sure to check the channel out and watch all of our shorts every now and again. It helps to support the channel. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Chasing you out on the field, my love is all for you.